The terrifying and unbelievable story of Yajuj and Majuj. A story so strange, so shocking, that it shakes the imagination and leaves the listener restless. For these are not myths or legends, but are real people created by Allah, mentioned in the Qur'an and foretold by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Beings whose sheer numbers, power, and corruption have been a threat since ancient times. Born from the children of Adam, yet unlike ordinary humans, Yajuj and Majuj were wild, fierce and restless, multiplying with terrifying speed, spreading like a swarm of locusts that darkened the sky, leaving behind only ruin. Wherever they went, crops were devoured, rivers were drained until nothing remained, villages burned to ashes, and kingdoms left in despair. For no army could stop them, and no city could resist their hunger. Their raids were so merciless that the cries of humanity rose to the heavens, until Allah chose to send a mighty king, Dhul-Qarnayn, a ruler of both strength and justice, whose name still echoes in history. His journeys carried him to the farthest lands until he reached a valley between two massive mountains, where a desperate nation begged him for salvation from the endless terror of Yajuj and Majuj, who would descend upon them in waves like a raging flood. Dhul-Qarnayn, with wisdom and power granted by Allah, commanded the building of a barrier unlike anything the world had seen. Slabs of iron stacked to the peaks of the mountains, sealed with molten copper, forming a wall so colossal and unbreakable that Yajuj and Majuj could neither climb over it nor dig beneath it. And so they were trapped, sealed away, pounding upon the wall day after day, their rage echoing behind the barrier, their claws tearing at the iron, their voices screaming in fury. Yet by the command of Allah, every night the wall was restored to its strength, and generation after generation, they remained imprisoned, waiting for the time decreed. But the Prophet ﷺ warned his ummah that near the final hour, when the great signs of Qiyamah unfold, this barrier will finally collapse, and the world will witness a nightmare beyond imagination as Yajuj and Majuj pour forth in countless numbers, surging like the waves of an unstoppable sea. Their population will be so vast that no nation can resist them, so endless that they will drink entire lakes until no drop remains, leaving people to die of thirst, and their swarms will cover the earth, overwhelming armies tearing through fortresses, consuming resources faster than they can be restored. People will flee, hide in mountains, cry out in desperation, but no weapon, no technology, no power of mankind will hold them back, for their release is not a battle to be won. It is a divine test, a trial of faith. The Prophet said that their chaos will shake the world, pushing humanity to its breaking point, until Allah Himself intervenes with His command, destroying them with a plague that strikes their necks, wiping them all out in a single night. Their corpses will cover the lands, filling the earth with stench so unbearable that the people will pray for relief, until Allah sends birds to lift their bodies away, cleansing the land once more. And when they are gone, the world will know that it was not human strength, but divine power that ended them. For Yajuj and Majuj are not just a tale of destruction, but a reminder of the power of Allah and a sign of the approaching end. So when you hear their story, do not think of it as distant history or a mere legend, but as a warning. For the day their wall finally falls, the earth will face its darkest trial, and every soul will know that the promise of Allah is true, and the final hour is closer than we ever imagined.